specifically in that third period, just the way things went. But what does a win like this, grind it out, really mean for this group here?
Yeah, it feels good, especially on a back-to-back going against, the Oilers. It's a tough task. But I feel like we did a really good job, the first and second period, and we knew the storm was going to be coming. You knew McDavid was going to be out there for the majority of the period, so it was all about, deflecting him to the outside, and, Jake, had his best period maybe of the year, so it was awesome.
I was going to say, Jake was unbelievable tonight, though, especially in that third period, the way he held the fort down.
Yeah, it was insane. Obviously, we'd like to help him out a little bit more, but it's the type of goalies we have now. They battle their ass off, and it's something you love to see.
And it's the type of moment where this is what good teams do. Sometimes a guy has to step up and cover for everybody else, that kind of thing, right? Like that's a building block.
Exactly. Like I said too, it's just back to back. It's going to be a struggle, but how are you going to handle adversity? And I felt like we handled it together as a team. So it was a great start. We all just came together and battled hard. So it was a good one.
Up in the press box, I could hear Grits' stick on the ice calling for you there. What was that moment like? What did you see on that?
Yeah, I heard him just as loud as you did. If I didn't get it to him, he probably would have yelled at me. So I'm glad I found him on the tape. And if you put him in any situation with the shot he has, he's gonna have a good chance of scoring. I
was gonna say, have you really ever seen a release like that? He must have one of the best releases.
He practices it all the time. Days off, all that stuff. He's always in there grinding his shot, and hopefully. He just continues to shoot and just continues to have that confidence because he's a really good player.
And nice to return the favor the other way once, right?
Exactly. I screamed right back at him for it. So, yeah, it was good.
Can you give me a thought of just being able to kind of shut it down defensively like you did last night, like you did tonight? Really there were a couple of chances, but for the most part, you guys did a good job.
Yeah, I think it was just a grind. I think, I felt like we had the right mindset going into it. But at the end of the day, you have McDavid on the other side of the ice. You have guys who know how to score. So it's just limiting to the outside and limiting the grade A's. As a back-to-back, you just got to dig in, to get your body in front of the puck. And I feel like we all are trying to do the right things. And obviously when you have Jake back there battling his ass off, it's a good step for us.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it. How big of a win was that for this group, especially that third period where the Oilers just came at you guys like crazy?
Yeah, we know, this team, it's unbelievable team, and so exciting to play against them. Yep. And third period, not great game us, but good defense, good Jake, couple saves, and we win this game.
I was going to say, what did you see from Jake in that third period, the way he held you guys in there?
I don't know. Every shot I see, he saves. A second period power play when he it's unbelievable. I'm always happy.
And what's it like sort of connecting again with Glasser, just the way you bang your stick for him and then you return it to him the next year?
Yeah, we play a lot of games with him, and now Lenny coming with us line. He's a smart guy, he's young, and he's play with puck, and it's good for us. We play not a lot of time, but I think we
made the most of it.
Yeah, good for team, and we're happy we can.
You got it.
We support team win today.
And how important has this stretch of hockey been where you guys are starting to find your game again after a tough stretch?
Yeah, we talk a lot with team, and a couple of meetings we have. We have bad lose, it's not us game, and now we're starting team build again, and we win 2 games, and I think I want this road same way.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Grits. Appreciate it. You nailed it. Good job. And sometimes you're up against a team like the Oilers who are going to come at you in that third period. Mm-hmm. Guys like yourself have to step up. What was that third period experience like for you?
Yeah, I think we all knew it after the second intermission, or between the second intermission, we knew they were going to have a push. And we knew the best players were going to play the majority of that period, which seemed like they did. We just had to find a way to get through it. Obviously, they're going to get their looks. That's the reality of it. They're a good team. They're really good players over there. So we got to understand that they're going to have momentum. It's just how do we get through that momentum? And I thought the guys did a great job. And obviously it starts last night. I thought it was a really good effort last night. And, guys are playing hard. And it's good to see. It's a good start to this trip.
What is the biggest takeaway from that third period? Constantly on your toes, but for this group right now, what does that say about where you guys are at right now?
A little bit more maturity in our game. I think, we had 3 or 4 wins before this trip, and, a little bit more poise, a little bit more maturity, keeping the game a little bit more simple. But playing sound defensively, we're going to make mistakes, but I think for the most part tonight we did a really good job, and up until that third period, they really didn't have a whole lot. So, proud of the group.
you made some big saves, but I just want to ask you about a couple of big shot blocks at the end there, right? Come your guys diving in front of
Yeah. No, it's Palat had a huge one there from the point, but Siegenthaler made a good save there right at the end, and that puck, it was probably going in. So I mean, for him to be able to do that, guys were laying there on the line. They're stuck out there for a long time too, so that's not easy. You know, they're huffing and puffing, they're out of breath, but they're still trying to find a way, and that's what we need.
There's a couple of cross-crease passes that you were able to get across on. It's just a matter of just trying to read those plays and just make yourself as big as possible.
Yeah, just trying to stay patient. You know, this team's got offensive chemistry that's been together for a long time, so they know where each other's going to be, and that's why they're one of the best teams in the league for a long time. And it's just about being patient and doing my best.
I remember at the beginning of training camp, you said that Grits probably has one of the best releases you've ever seen. Man, did he fire it like that. Jerry, I don't even think noticed what had happened on the play. What did you see from that from the other end of the ice and how dangerous he can be?
No, we see it all the time. I think the hardest thing in this league is for guys coming in is to find time and space to shoot. That's the hardest thing. You can have a great shot in the world, but the best shot in the world, but if you can't find those pockets to shoot, and I feel like lately, the last 15, 20 games, he's finding those pockets more, and eventually they're going to start going in. So it's a big transition for him, but he's got all the talent in the world.
Just wondering what you're seeing. You know, it's only been a 2-game sample size, but Lenny coming in, you watched from the bench last night, obviously, today in front of you. I mean, what do you see from this young kid coming in?
I'm really impressed. Last night, watching him, you know, he was defensively responsible. He made some great plays offensively. I knew he was a skill player. Didn't know a whole lot about him. Just saw him a little bit at training camp, and obviously tonight he gets another chance to stay in the lineup. And again, I thought he did his thing. He was responsible, and that's the biggest thing that you can be as a young player coming up. And that responsibility usually generates into looks. So happy for him.
Thanks, Jake. Much in the third period, but you had Jake back there just sort of holding down the fort. What can you say about his performance, particularly in the third tonight?
Well, he was outstanding. You know that Edmonton was going to have a surge. I thought we managed that in the first and second period as probably as close to perfect as we could have. But they're going to have a push. You're going to need to get some saves, and Jake was outstanding. This
was really a grinded out, particularly in that third period. What do you hope your team is starting to learn about themselves again over this last stretch of 4 of the last 5?
Just what we're capable of. We can give ourselves every opportunity to win, and adhere to a plan, play together as a group. Just continue to cut down on our mistakes. And stack up as many positive things as we can to try to put things in our favor. Guys were great. I thought from a defensive checking standpoint in the first 2 periods, it's as good a game as we played in a really long time, maybe all season, quite frankly, when you consider the opponent, and in particular with their top line and how we managed that.
What's starting to percolate with that line that you've put together with Lenny and Grits and Glasser?
Well, this game here in particular, it's one I felt like our depth could win us the game here today. If we could manage their best people, I felt like our depth could win us the game. That's what those guys have the ability to do. Glass and Gritsyuk have been 2 consistent offensive players for us, making plays, scoring goals. And Lenny has fit in on the line as well. Brownie played some shifts with those guys here today as well, and he's been great with those guys. So, they were good today. But like I said, I felt coming into the game that our depth could be a real factor, and that's how it worked out.
They had about 4 or 5 really good chances, but Jake Allen made some big saves for you guys. Just a thought on his play tonight, how good he was throughout the game.
Yeah, like I said, I thought he was great. He had 1 big save, I think, on the penalty kill in the second period, but other than that, on the first and second, he wasn't tested a whole lot. We did a real good job, but they're going to surge. You're not getting through a game against the Oilers without a surge or multiple surges, especially when it's as tight a game as it was. So Jake is going to be great. Jake was outstanding when we played in here last year, and that's why we wanted to get him back in. He clearly feels good in this building. Credit to him to stay with it and stay focused and be ready when called upon. To seal the game there in the third.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Thank you.